is 7 p.m. We will at this time bring the meeting call to order of the Orion Township Zoning Board of Appeals that is scheduled for this time at this date. Please call the roll.
Dan Durham.
Here.
Don Walker.
Here.
Tony Cook.
Here.
Diane Danaskis. Here. Beth McGuire. Here. Quorum is present.
Thank you. Next are our meeting minutes from the last meeting. We were here on the 22nd of September. Do any of the board members have any changes, concerns? If not, a motion, please.
Move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
Support.
We have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Next, we have an agenda review and approval for tonight's business. Any concerns by the board members before we open the cases?
Move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
And I will support. We have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're ready to start.
And correction, I said minutes, but it's agenda.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Next, we have AB, our only case for tonight, AB 2025-27, Gaspare Vitali at vacant parcel south of 875 Dollar Bay Drive on Lightich Street, Sidwell 09-10-206-049. It was postponed from our meeting of the 22nd of September. Petitioner is seeking two variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R3, Article 27, Section 27.17B. Number one is a 19.28 foot wetland setback variance from the required 25 foot for a residential driveway to be 5.72 feet from a wetland. And number two is a 14.56 feet wetland setback variance from the required 25 feet for an attached garage to be 10.44 feet from a wetland. Do we have the petitioner? Come on up. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Board. Gaspar Vitali, property owner at the particular property, subject property.
Okay. Before we get started, we have two board members that did not hear this last time. So take your time, please. They're going to have questions that some of us may have answered or thought we did the last meeting, but it's going to be the first jump out of the box for these folks.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're here tonight because we postponed the decision-making so we could add some additional information based on the board's had a few extra questions that we've implemented and added onto the existing plans. My name is Gaspar Vitali. I'm the owner of Vitali Real Estate New Homes. So I build new homes in Township, Lake Orion Township, and have been for the last 5 years. So very familiar with the process. So we're looking to build a new residence on this property, which we've been building new residences in Lake Orion over the last 5 years. So the variance request that we had last, I think 3 weeks ago, we've modified it. So as mentioned, originally the driveway request 3 weeks ago was 3.19 from the wetland. So now it's 5.72. So we're actually reducing our variance request. So the variance went from 21.81 down to 19.28 as it relates to the driveway away from the wetlands. And then on the garage, the original design we had was a 3-car garage. And during that last meeting, one of the concerns were that the garage might be a little close to the wetland area. As we know, we are not on any of the Eagle wetland properties, so we are away from that. Eagle does not have a rule as far as being a certain distance away, as long as you're not on their jurisdiction called. So, but the board had some concern as it related to the corner of the garage being close to the wetlands. So we took our plan design from a 3-car garage, reduced it to 2-car garage. So we basically went from being 2.78 feet away at the garage corner to the wetland, and now we're over 10 feet away. So we're reducing the variance from a 22.2 down to 14.56. So about a 10-foot shift, plus or minus. So basically the variance request is, one, in order to get into the property, we need to access it in between 2 different wetland areas that we're not imposing on. And so that's the plan that's there. We've also added to the plan some grading topographies that shows on a larger scale, like where the grade of the property swales to. So what we were able to do was on the left side of the property, I don't know if you guys can see all of it, but on the left side of the property kind of goes from the back of the property to the front downward. And, you know, we have these arrows there that show where the water runs to in general. So we've added those. That was not on the previous plan. And then being new construction, we always work with the township engineers and inspectors when we're doing the final grades in order to create the best situation at hand. So sometimes, even when you have an engineering document at hand right here, when we do the inspections, we actually might find a better way that makes more sense on site than on paper. So we've also added the driveway elevation. So on the driveway, it actually shows numbers as it goes. You can see the driveway is pretty flat, and then it kind of ramps up slowly at a normal percentage, which is just over 2%, I believe that says there. And so the driveway is not like any unusual or untypical of new construction. It actually falls within the parameters of percentage slope on a driveway. So we added that to the plan from last week. We added the topography showing the drainage and keeping the drainage within the property. We also added a culvert. That was one of the conversation pieces in the last meeting that if you go a little lower on the plan, right there, that arrow, or where it's highlighted, that was not there. So what that basically does, we'll put the culvert underneath, and that allows for any, high points of drainage, from one water area can drain into another water area if it wants to. So flowing at its own natural feel. So we added a culvert that was not on the last. That was one of things that they said that might have been a good recommendation. Additionally, we added a catch basin dry well, and I'll let my engineer here speak on that, which I'm not really familiar. But in the bottom left corner there, there's this area, call it 5 by 10, that we would dig down deep and fill it with stone so that if there is, excessive water situation, this would help collect additional water from wherever it's flowing. I'm not going to say that it would collect all the water, but it would definitely help the situation. And that's something that, in our last meeting, we talked about, would you do that if we moved forward with an approval? Well, we tabled it and we said, yes, we're going to put it on the plan so that it's on the plan versus just a discussion. And that's, also unusual of a single-family residence to have a dry well added to the site, but we thought it would help with any concerns that were discussed in last meeting. So yeah, we added swales within the property, and that's what the arrows are, and they kind of shows the general drainage of it. But again, the big changes from last meeting was that we made the garage from a 3-car down to a 2-car, reducing the garage and taking that 10.44, which was only 2.5 feet. And we were worried about, disturbing the wetlands because we were only 2 feet away. And then and by doing that, it actually moved the driveway over, which also kept us further away from the wetlands on the driveway location. Added the swales, added the dry well, and added all the topography, showing that we are within proper slopes for new construction.
I have a question for you. I think I heard you say sometimes when you're out there working, you have your plans drawn and everything, and maybe something will come to your attention that would work better than what you have on the plans? If I didn't hear that, tell me.
Yes, that's true. So,
What do you do in that case? You've got plans that state this is what you're going to do. Your approval is based on those plans. You see a change that you feel would need to happen, then what?
that's actually done in working in conjunction with building officials, right?
So your connection would be with Mr. Goodloe or his designee,
Yeah,
and they would say yay or nay.
yeah, I would work with them, and I've done that quite a bit. We've built on 2 to 5 acre parcels where you're dealing with a lot of different topography. And they're like, okay, maybe if we shift the swale over to here versus here, it'll help the situation with drainage. Yeah, so we would follow this guideline. And if this guideline works, then great. But if in the field, the inspector says, let's shift it 6 feet over because it makes more sense, because sometimes in the field you can visualize it better, then that's what we do in order to get a final approval from, call it engineering or the building of the township.
Thank you. Board members.
I'm one of those folks that's new to this case. And one of the things that I was trying to, Mr. Goodloe, can you pull up the picture of the site, please? And just trying to be sure of what we're talking about in terms of where the entrance is going to be. Right, go back to the right, other right, where the garage is. No, this one right here, you're on the right one. Okay, stop. This garage here, and then there's a second garage to the south of there, kind of, right, nope.
Nope, there's just
there.
one garage.
So where, is your entrance between these two?
Yeah, so it would actually be coming, so you see the garage on the right, a little short driveway that's on a kind of a 30-degree angle. It would actually come right off of there. What I'm proposing, so one of the main concerns too with the submittal was that the planning department said, we want to make sure that you can get a road commission approval.
Yeah.
Right? You weren't at the last meeting. There was, probably I had 3 to 5 months of discussions between
Yes.
who even was responsible for this road, right? The road commission said Orion, Orion said road commission, and it went back and forth. So after a lot of working with Tammy Gerling, and she was great, they did say that road commission is responsible. The road commission already has, this road was already kind of guide-lighted in, and that's why there's a city, sewer that runs right down where our driveway is, and it's dedicated with a sewer lead. I checked with the sewer department that there's a sewer lead already going to this property. So we're basically following the roadway where it should have been the whole time, but it was just never improved.
Okay.
All right, so it comes in off of that little angle and then kind of just veers right there as the plan dictates.
Okay, so does that garage belong to you then?
Yes, I own that whole entire parcel, yes.
Okay, so okay, that's the parcel next door that you're speaking of having control of in your application.
Pardon?
That's the parcel that you have control of that you talk about in your application?
Yes.
The adjacent parcel, okay. So
but the driveway's going in actually where the easement, the original easement from Road Commission was dictated.
I got that. But
Following
does
that?
this garage will this belong to the home that you are building? This existing garage?
Yeah, no, that's just, that's got nothing to do with this site.
Is this a separate parcel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to come in off of that area. All right. That's what I wanted to understand, because the way it's described is you're on Lideridge and you're trying to figure it out and you don't see it, and then you come around to Shady Oaks and you're like, is this the right spot or not? So.
Yeah, so, you can actually see where it kind of veers a little bit there, and that road was supposed to go down that. So we're just following that line that was always there.
Okay.
We're not creating a different roadway that wasn't ever there. So we're following the easement, the sewer line, and everything that was already in place that just never was improved.
Okay, now the easement makes more sense based on this discussion. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir, did you say that your engineer had something he could add about the drywall? Or have you covered it?
I guess if you have further questions regarding this dry well system, right? So the dry well system is basically a 5 by 10 area that we dig down and fill it in with stone. And it's a basin area that allows, if there's a lot of water, for it to kind of filter into. If you have further questions on it, yes. I
Just one, how deep?
believe it was 5 feet deep?
Yeah, we were calling for
Sure.
Go ahead.
Jeff Rizzo, Fenn and Associates, 14933 Commercial Drive, Shelby Township, 48315. Yeah, so this particular dry well, we went with 5 feet deep. But one of the things with dry wells that you need to make sure is, when you are constructing them, you need to determine where the groundwater table is. Because if it's, depending on where that is, that could limit the depth of the dry well. But that's one of the things that, we would look at doing, if we get this approval and move forward.
Have you determined yet how deep down you think the water table is?
We have not, I don't believe we have any soil borings quite yet.
No.
Yeah, we don't know the actual groundwater table.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, hold up. Oh,
Mr. Cook?
yep. So you're going to use swells to do some stormwater management?
Yes, correct.
So typically, swells are for stormwater management. Help me, and off of hard surfaces. So tell me, how are you going to apply swells to this particular lot?
Yeah, so with this property, as Gasper mentioned, the north side is the high side.
Mm-hmm.
The rear of the lot, and the drainage does flow from, basically from, north to south. So what we would do is we'd create a high point, doesn't have to be the center of the house, maybe the center of the lot. Create a high point, make it a good 12 inches lower than the back of the house, and then from there split off and go with side yard swales. Okay, and then we would, the swales, of course, would direct the water. The west side would go to the dry well. The east side would go into the, basically into the existing wetlands. So, yeah, we feel that by doing this plan here, we are able to manage and contain our own stormwater.
And then, do you have a plan for the type of vegetation that you'll put in this? I'm assuming you're not going to concrete it.
Well, basically, it'll be, so there will be filter fabric on top, gravel, and in most cases, they'll just put sod or topsoil on it, some type of,
Okay,
cedar sod or,
gotcha, okay.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I do also think that, our finished product, something like this, installing sod versus whatever's there also helps control drainage in itself, right? You get a vacant lot that's dirt, when it rains, what does it turn into versus just having the grass down? It's a night and day difference. I do know that would help tremendously with this scenario here if water is a concern.
Do you envision it being mowed?
I would think that whoever buys the home would mow their grass, yes,
I mean, in the swale?
in the swale. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because-
These swales are just areas that kind of channels the water where it makes most sense within the property.
Because I grew up with a different definition of swales, and it wouldn't be what you're talking about there.
Yeah, all of our swales would be sodded because they're just dips in the property, kind of just shaping the property of where you want the water to go to. They're not really like ditches, call it.
Thank you. While the board members are mulling it over, young man out there, did you come to speak to this tonight? Okay, so nothing new, just observing? Well, I tell you what, if you got something to say, come on up and say it, please. All right, thank you. Ladies, anything to discuss?
I guess I have a question for Mr. Goodlow, if I'm allowed. My concern is still the water accumulation. And there was a letter from one of the neighbors that talked about that. This gentleman and his wife spoke about it. I'm concerned if we do something we allow something to happen to aggravate the flooding system, I would feel very badly that I contributed to that. Is there any way, even during construction, or during engineering, to see if that would, what the odds of that happening would be?
I mean, you can do calculations for sheet flow and whatnot, but when I see this property, the wetland is there for a reason, and it does take sheet flow from the surrounding properties. Personally, I think the plan that they show actually channels the water in the right directions. I think the dry well is a bonus. But the water is all gonna end up in that wetland eventually, on that, so I don't see it like hindering that. Now, when we get this in a formal submittal, if I see concerns or if my inspector sees concerns when he does a plan review, we'll shoot it over to our engineers, get any comments they have, and then address those at that time, so, yep. Yep.
Mr. Gallo, I want to talk about this from a worst-case scenario. So you see the concerns, they've gotten the approval for the variance. Do they have to follow what you're asking them?
When you come into it with a design, we're gonna make sure the water goes where it needs to be. So, yeah, we do have some standards that we can follow to make sure that they do adhere to those guidelines and put it in the proper areas.
Would that be part of the motion then, just basically, that they would have to basically agree to what the engineers, may say?
It could be, I think, but at the end of the day, we're gonna make sure that this property doesn't adversely affect neighboring properties. That's our goal when we do those reviews.
Mr. Goodlow, I assume this would be a permitted operation?
Yes.
Permits would be issued from the township here?
Yeah, so we'd have a soil erosion permit protecting the wetland, obviously.
And if there was any off-the-reservation work, you could pull the permit if you were moved to?
We always can revoke a permit if somebody's not compliant, yes.
Thank you.
Use that term because today is National Endangered People Day.
No, I didn't even think about that.
All right.
Yeah, that's not too keen.
And I will say that the applicant has worked in some problematic areas, and we've always been able to solve issues amicably, so no issue there.
Mr. Vitale, you said that you've built build homes in the area for about 5 years now. How many have you built?
Homes are very custom.
No, I'm not. Building official gave you a compliment. I'm just trying to quantify.
Yeah, no.
So,
I don't know if it go by, quantity.
okay. Well, I mean, my question was about quantity, so it's not bragging if you're asked. Okay. So,
Before we move forward any further, or as the board is thinking about it, Mr. Walker just handed me a piece of paper that I should have, probably do have, but he found his. It is a notice or a letter from Eric Hutchins regarding the proposed request. My name is Eric Hutchins, who owns 455 through 456 Shady Oak Street parcels, one of which back to proposed variance request. I have major concerns with the variance due to existing wetlands that run behind my parcel. Currently, we experience major flooding to this area, which extends to our residents across Shady Oaks. There is not ample drainage, and neighbors on both sides have experienced flooding. Asking for approval to build on a known wetland or even the request to encroach further means more water will be directed somewhere and potentially create more problems for existing properties. I also don't see mention of where the driveway is proposed. I was told it would be to Shady Oaks, causing more concerns of additional water needing to go someplace. Can the building owner or Orion Township guarantee the water from these wetlands won't further encroach on existing homeowners' properties? I would assume no, which is why I must decline the request for variance. I guess that would mean he's not in favor. I would also like to bring up the concern over building on this land at all, considering there is an existing water source running through the land. Prior owner said they tried this before with no success. Wish I could attend the hearing in person, but not in town. I know multiple people on the street are proposing no due to same concerns. Hope Orion Township sees the impact to many existing homeowners and does not allow any kind of building. Again, from Eric Hutchins. I will say that I've not seen anything to this depth. I mean, houses being literally flooded, that was something that, assuming that this is factual, I had never heard of before. But I heard Mr. Goodlow, before I even read this, speak of making sure water doesn't encroach into further properties and things of that nature. So this will go in as part of our case, but it is just read for purposes of a complete record. I'm going to ask the gentleman out in the audience, you don't have to come up. I just have a question for you that you're in a position to know and I'm not. You remember 3 or 4 years ago, we had about a 10-inch rain in about an hour and a half. Were you living over there? What happened? How long? I mean, we can't count on a 10-inch rain anymore, but I'm just curious, getting that kind of a dump, where it went. Well, just for the record, I was on 24 that day. From one shoulder across 2 lanes, the middle and the other 2 shoulders, it was a river. You couldn't see anything, no dirt, no pavement, no nothing. So I was just curious. Thank you. please?
If it makes any difference, nothing here states that we need to install sod on the property, right? And I know that would help this whole situation, because everything's speculation, right? So I could add that we would put, or guarantee, myself or the property owner would install sod on this property. As part of the building permit, or such, whatever. And that's not a requirement of Orion Township, but I could add that, because obviously all the conversation about water is speculation. I do know that sod helps it tremendously, obviously with soil permits. So I just wanted to add that, just to address any slight concern.
Appreciate it. Whichever board member ends up making a motion on this matter, they can include that in the motion so that it will be part of the approval, since you have stepped up and said you would do it. Just speaking for one person, first of all, I don't live there like other folks do, but we had concerns at the last meeting. You have moved to address them in what seems to me to be a reasonable manner. I'm only one vote, but it seems to me that you are willing to work with us. If you're willing to work with us, it would follow that you'd be willing to work with the building department if something crops up mid-project, and that is always appreciated.
So my clarity's starting to come in on the driveway. Is, in essence, you're building a road and then you'll build a driveway? Is that how this is going to go?
The road, the driveway is the road going into the property.
Right, but,
It'll all be constructed simultaneously. And you get a private way for the completion of the project.
right, so because this is an easement for this series of parcels along here, you realize that people will cross that at some point, could, or is that?
I have the road commission permit, I don't know, they called it an access driveway permit. It was
Okay.
road commission.
All right, so, yeah, that's because the easement's here, so, yeah. He's gonna go here, and then you've got the lots next door.
Tony, you could see that
You have to point out it
easement,
where people might-
Right.
you can see that easement right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see it, but I'm saying that the existing homes now, if they cut, well, not the existing, because there's some trees here, but the lot next to yours is vacant. So you own a total of 3 lots. Enough discussion.
Okay. That's
All
just,
right.
I saw where you were coming with that, though.
Yeah, okay. Just didn't want to get into it. This is my road.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so now the home placement. Just to be clear, sir, you own 169, 170, and 171.
69, 170.
168. Oh, that's
What's
170.
the other way?
Yeah, 168,
Yeah.
and then the shed. I think it's also 160, so it's 170 and 169 are combined as one,
Yes, sir.
and then 168 and 167 are combined as one. I own that parcel. And then and then 166, which is also the shed, the garage that we were talking about. as well.
Okay.
There are 3 different parcels, an 80-foot, an 80-foot, and a 40-foot.
One se- Have you spoken to the owners of 171 about this? Okay. Okay, so this is, okay. Mr. Gullo, can you see if there's a newer picture? This is from April 20. Thank you, sir.
This is just a curious, when you were talking to the road commission, they actually maintain, I mean, do they maintain plow it too and everything? The drive? No, do they like, actually maintain the road there? Because it doesn't look, when I went down, you know, I was just wondering. Is that why there was so? Yeah, I was just curious, I know it's not, you know, pertaining to this, I was just curious. When you go down there, I mean, it definitely gives the appearance of a private, you know, road versus a. Well, I was just curious what your discussions were with.
The permit process would, once they solidified who was actually, if it was Orion or theirs, the permit process.
if you're successful, are you gonna move dirt this year yet? Decent weather could go away anytime now. The decent weather could go away anytime now.
This would definitely move into a spring, summer project next year.
All right, I'm prepared to make a motion. All right. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-27, Gasper Vitale, vacant parcel south of 875 Dollar Bay Drive on Lighted Street, Sidwell, 0910206-049. I move the petitioner's revised request for two variances from zoning ordinance number 78, zoned R3, Article 27, Section 27.17B like Bravo. Number one, a 19.28-foot wetland setback variance from the required 25 feet for a residential driveway to be 5.72 feet from a wetland. And number two, a 14.56-foot wetland setback variance from the required 25 feet for an attached garage to be 10.44 feet from a wetland be granted for the revised request for plans date stamped October 3rd, because the petitioner did demonstrate the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, number one, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty due to the topography of the area and showing from the maps that we've been able to observe that this is a unique parcel and that it does sit in an area that is literally feet from a lake. Number two, the following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved that do not generally apply to other properties in the same district. And that is that the owner of this particular lot, or the petitioner, I should say, has control of adjacent lots 166, 167, and 168. In addition to that, he's been in contact with the Oakland County Road Commission about the easement, learning that there is an open sewer, not a sewer tap on the easement itself. And that the building officials have spoken in reference to engineering changes along the way that may change based upon what is learned as the site actually begins to work, and that the petitioner is obligated to follow those recommendations, if you will. The variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right proposed by other properties in the same zone or vicinity, or smaller variances would be sufficient, as the owner has made the following modifications. Number one, he's reduced the size of the driveway. He's reduced also one of the garages that will be on there. So it's gone from a 3 garage to a 2 garage. He's added all the grading topography as asked on the site plan. In addition, the driveway elevations were added to make this a lot more clear for us to understand. Added the culvert under the driveway, and then in addition put in a dry well that is going to be a minimum of 5 feet based upon the depth or the distance to the water table. And most importantly, swells have been added. Typically, swells are done for hard surfaces, but to make this more of a mitigating way, as opposed to just making the dirt and then letting the vegetation grow in, they're going to be sodded along with other portions of the property in order to make sure that the drainage, if you will, is mitigated to where it should go on the property itself. In addition to that, the swells will be maintained in a way to keep this, keep them doing what they were designed to do. The granting of the variance or modification would not be materially detrimental to the public welfare, or materially injurious to the property, or improvements in such a zone or district in which the property is located, based upon the following fact that, again, the building department, Orion official, as well as Oakland County Road Commission officials have been involved with this planning process, and questions have been answered directly by them. The variance is not created as, again, the property is due to the topography of the property itself. Now, other conditions that would be included in the motion is, again, the petitioner will abide by all engineering changes stated by the building department, and the petitioner also understands that the permits will be pulled or could be pulled at any point if those things that are best for ensuring that we're not increasing a problem in the area, and that the petitioner will abide by that. The petitioner's also talked about, agreed to again, sod the swells, and that there will be year-round maintenance on the road itself.
Anything additional by the board or a second? Support. We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Cook with support by Mr. Walker. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Jane Danaskis, yes. Tony Cook,
Yes.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Beth McGuire,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes,
Motion passes.
success, motion passes. Please be careful and take care of your neighbors up there.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have the matter of our meetings for 2026. There's a bulletin in here. Has everyone had a chance to look at it? It's pretty standard stuff. We have, man?
Well, when I spoke to the planning department, they mentioned about the 28th, the meeting on December 28th, whether or not that would be an issue.
We can discuss that right up front. Want to take the 28th of December off?
I think so, yes.
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 I do too.
Okay.
Okay. We can strike that.
I was calculating whether I should be alive.
Chances of getting a quorum
That's what
are
I'm like.
null and void.
So we can strike that.
Yeah.
And there is a motion, the second of two on the front, that take the fact that we struck that right out. So if anybody wants to go ahead, we can do it.
I don't think we have the list.
So moved.
So move that we approved as presented with the 28th taken out. Yeah, I don't think I have it.
All right, move to,
Usually never get the other one or something. It's gotta be.
Oh, here's it. Orange folder. Is this it?
Yep.
Okay.
oh, there it is.
You should get the only one, Chairman. Big cheese.
So move,
In May is taken out to back up Memorial Day, and the one at Christmas now.
Okay, that is already taken out, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Askis,
Move to approve the 2026 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting dates as amended, removing December 28th, 2026 meeting date, and to forward the amended resolution to the Board of Trustees for adoption.
I will offer support. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Beth McGuire,
Yes.
Diane Danastis, yes, Dan Durham.
Yes,
Yes.
that's done. And public comment, we have not too much public left. Gentleman in the back. Communications, anybody have anything? Walker? Nothing? Member comments, anybody have something that's on your mind? No, yeah? Keep up the good work. Okay, member comments, motion to adjourn? Motion on the floor with support, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're done, thank you.